Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about competition. Originally, I was going to talk about the financial model, but you really need to understand how to evaluate competition first, so that way it will help you in putting together your financial model. So, why understanding competition is important? It helps you identify market trends, and you can go and use something like Google Trends to let you know what's going on in the market. Of course, you can always use AI to provide you with information. And if you're using chat, they haven't updated their data sets since June of last year, 2024. So, Frank and some of the others have more updated data sets. You have to understand customer preferences and what they're looking for. And you have to discover areas of improvement that what you're going to offer is going to be better than what's already out there. Companies like Apple and Samsung constantly analyze each other to innovate and stay ahead. So there are different types of competitors. One is direct competitors where they're offering the same product as you. So that's like Coke versus Pepsi. But there are indirect competitors where Coca-Cola is probably competing against Meesway because they're each providing a soft drink to drink. So that would be an indirect competitor. Or even bottled water is an indirect competitor to Coke, because if you're trying to quench your thirst, do I drink a Coke or a Pepsi, or do I drink a bottle of water? So, identifying your competitors, you're going to do market research and customer feedback. I once did work for a global insurance company, and they were sure that there were three companies that were their main competitors in providing insurance for small business. But when I interviewed 25 customers, none of the 25 picked the three companies they thought were competitors, and they ended up picking three other companies, and 20 of the 25 companies all pick the three same companies. So you're going to do your market research, and there are a variety of services that you can use for market research. One of them is a website called ceoexpress.com. And of course, you can always use different AI platforms to do that. And you can always use Google search. So there are a variety of ways you can find information. We'll talk more about that. But I think one of the great trends to use, one of the great tools to use, which is free, is Google Trends that will let you know what is really going on in the marketplace. So creating a comparison chart. I always recommend to my students, because I do this for the clients I raise a lot of money for, and that is creating an Excel spreadsheet where you have on the left side all the things you're going to compare your company and your competitors to. And so you and the competitors will be across the top vertically, and horizontally will be all of the things you're going to compare yourself against. So you're going to have a simple table comparing features, pricing, and customer service. You can do a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, but I really don't like that as much as the spreadsheet. But I think because you're high school students, this might be an easier one for you to go and start with. And a brief overview of SWOT can provide insights into competitive positioning. So you might say, if you were looking at VinUnivesity compared to the other schools in Vietnam, you could say our strength is that we're backed by the biggest company in Vietnam and by the wealthiest man in Vietnam, and that we have teachers from all over the world, and that we have the fastest 5-star QS rating in history. You might say our weaknesses compared to some of the other schools like RMIT or any of the major national schools is that we've only been around 6 years. And so that might be a detriment. And we also might be that we haven't placed as many students in jobs as other universities have. So if you're conducting a SWOT analysis, you look to analyze the strengths, look at the weaknesses, explore the opportunities. So for VinUnivesity, one of the opportunities for us was to go and launch an MBA focused on AI, either as an entrepreneur or as an entrepreneur. So we looked at it and said, hey, there's nothing in the market that's offering that. So rather than offering a similar MBA to the other 7 schools that offer MBAs, we offered something that was totally different, that focused on AI, but that when you graduated, you had a plan that you were ready to go and execute on. And companies like Coca-Cola get into the snack food business since they're already providing sodas and that type of thing. They will go into businesses that could be relatable. So that could be exploring new opportunities. And then you assess threats. Who could be coming in to your marketplace? So Meesway has been around since 1997. I love their bubble tea. But now there are some local Vietnamese competitors. They're offering a similar one. In fact, there's a Vietnamese competitor. I forget the name of it. Starts with a B, but they've actually copied totally the look and feel of Meesway. And I'm sure the Meesway people feel like, hey, they should have some intellectual property protection. But be that as it may, there are competitors in the space. So some of the strengths you'd be looking at are strong brand loyalty, innovative products. A weakness could be, hey, you're charging more than everybody else is charging for the same type of product. Opportunities could be expanding into emerging markets. Meesway started in China. Now it has 46,000 locations throughout Southeast Asia and China. A threat could be increasing competition from brands like Adidas. If in fact you're Nike and you've opened up in Vietnam and you were the first major international sneaker maker, athletic wear maker to open up in Vietnam, and now Adidas from Germany comes in, and now there are a direct competitor, and they're looking to siphon off some of your marketplace. Back in the beginning of the internet, there was a search engine called Alta Vista developed by Hewlett Packard. And for a long time, they were very dominant. But then 15 other search engines came in along with Google. And Google ended up being the winner because it was such a clean site to go and use. But in the beginning, Alta Vista didn't alter what they were doing. And they thought that what they had would be good, but you constantly need to innovate. One of the reasons you follow competition is so you can see what they're doing and how you could improve your own product and service. I started a company to help consultants get speaking gigs. And so a company out of Texas bought us because we were handling high-end consultants doing speaking to Fortune 1000 companies. So the top companies in the world were using our platform, and their platform was being used by small organizations. So they acquired us so they could have both small and large organizations. Research a real world competitor. Choose any product that you want to, and you can go and do some competitive analysis on them. So if you like wearing Nike sneakers, you can go to the mall and compare it to other sneaker makers that are out there and see what that is. If you like pizza, and I love 4Ps, and you can go and eat pizza from 4Ps and Pizza Shop and some of the other national brands, and do a taste test and see which one tastes better for you as opposed to just trying the one. So you have to go and sample a variety of competitors or experience a variety of competitors to see how that works. I worked with a family that owned hotel, bar, restaurants, and the parents who were the third generation running it. They would stay at 10 different similar type hotels around the United States and even in Europe. And they would make notes about what those hotels were doing and take a look at what they were doing to improve what their offering was. They would go eat at different restaurants and see how they delivered food and how they presented it to diners and what kinds of things they had on their menu to see if, in fact, they could offer something better or more unique. Great ideas just looking at competitors. Participants, as an example, participants can take a product like a fitness tracker and research competitors like Fitbit and Garmin. I use Zomi's fitness tracker and I love it. And they've had it here almost 3 years. And I love the looking at the number of steps every day because I try to do 10,000 steps. But I've used some of the others and I still like what Zomi offers, but especially the price they offer it at, because they're about a third of the price of Fitbit and Garmin, and I think just as good, if not better. Analyzing competitor strengths, identify their key strengths, assess the impact on the market when they enter the market. So for Vingroup and their VinFast company, now there are Chinese brands entering with their own electric cars. So the question is VinFast price competitive? Is the look and feel of their product, of the different cars that VinFast makes, appealing to the Vietnamese market over the Chinese market, comparing the strengths of what's inside the car compared to that, what kind of warranty are they giving? And once you understand what the competitor is doing, then you have to develop counter strategies. How are you going to go and beat them? So if you charge more, are you being able to show that there's more benefits by you charging more? If you're able to say, hey, yes, we charge you 20% more, but we give you a longer warranty than the others if it breaks down. So you have to discuss and identify and analyze the strengths of your competitors. An example would be Fitbit's strength in brand recognition and user-friendly app. Everybody is pretty much familiar with Fitbit, so people feel like if I buy a Fitbit, I can't really go wrong. I don't think it's taking a big risk. When I bought Zomi's product, Zomi was well known, but not for their fitness app or their fitness watches. But I felt for a roughly a 1.25 million dong investment, I felt it was worth it to take the chance, and I haven't been disappointed. Analyzing comparator weaknesses, identify weaknesses, verify the weaknesses impact, explore exploitation. How do you take advantage of that? And monitor changes. Discuss how to identify and analyze those weaknesses. Garmin's complexity and user interface compared to Fitbit. It's much harder to use a Garmin than a Fitbit. When I was your age, there were two computers, of course. It was Apple operating system, Microsoft operating system. With Apple, you didn't even need any directions. It was so easy to use. It was so obvious how to go and use it. But Microsoft's product initially was hard to use. And in fact, they had manuals that were 300 pages to help you learn how to use Microsoft's operating system. So Apple had a clear advantage, and then Microsoft essentially copied Apple's operating system. And now the operating systems are pretty much the same. And of course, now a lot of people use Google because it's all free products, and they pretty much mirror what Apple and Microsoft are using. Opportunities in the marketplace. What are the emerging trends and market gaps? Meaning, what could we take advantage out there? So right now, if you were to go and take a look at different opportunities in the marketplace, maybe one of those opportunities could be in the AI space, and that might be, hey, I create a platform and it puts in categories all the different AI tools that are out there that you could go and take advantage of. Because right now, you have to go and type into AI and say, give me all the AI tools that help me write business plans. Give me all the AI tools that would help me do market research. But what if the opportunity was that you could have everybody going to one site to see all of the AI tools, and you created that site and you had people sign up to access all the information that's there. And then before you know it, you start having advertising from different AI products that would be on the site. You also will look at technological advancements growing in the case of the Garmin and Fitbit watch and Xiaomi and some of the others. What kind of trackable features? If you could actually create a watch that would measure our sugar as a diabetic, if you could go and measure that, and there are watches that say they do, but apparently, and I'm on the board of the American Diabetes Association, there is no watch right now that gives you those numbers. That would be great to have. So if you could develop that product, there are hundreds of millions of diabetics who would like to be wearing a watch and knowing um, what their sugar looks like at any given time, so that way they can monitor it and make sure that their blood sugar doesn't get so high that they pass out, or it gets too low and they pass out. So they want to be able to monitor that. Threats in industries, new entrants that are coming in. As I mentioned, Chinese are bringing their electric vehicles into Vietnam, changing regulations that might change what you're offering. The government could decide that what you're offering is not good for society as a whole and put certain conditions on it, making it impossible for you to operate either as a profit or just to operate at all in Vietnam. Technological disruptions, that there are new technologies coming into the field that are better than yours. Um, right now, many students, every student has a laptop, but now I see many students, especially in the US, that are using their phone as an all-purpose technological device that they take notes on, they take pictures, they record classes, they do all kinds of things without actually having to carry a laptop. And then they can go home and send all the notes to that laptop and put it on there, or sync what they have in their phone to the laptop. And of course, there are economic shifts as well. Back about 10 years ago, there was a financial crisis in 2008, and that sent everything into a tailspin, and many companies went out of business because people were going bankrupt around the world because of the drop in the stock market. Or if you remember the pandemic of 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago, hotels couldn't open. They couldn't take guests in because nobody was allowed to travel. Restaurants were getting killed. So if you had thought about opening a new restaurant, then the pandemic hit, it changed everything for you economically. If in fact there is a new tax laws that come into place and people have to pay higher taxes, means less disposable income. Creating a comparison matrix, as I show you here, on the left side, you're showing all the features, price range, battery life, customer rating, and then across the top, you are showing the different competitors. And so that way everybody can see the battery life in a Fitbit is shorter than a Garmin, but also the Fitbit is less expensive if you don't mind syncing up your Fitbit electronic and plugging it into a socket every day, then that's fine for you. You save a lot of money. But if in fact you want to not have to think about it, and you can go and get something that lasts 14 days, like the Garmin. My Xiaomi can last a day without me plugging it in, but typically every night before I go to sleep, I plug it in, and it's usually about half the amount of energy it had when I started the day. Conclusion, leveraging competitive intelligence. Regularly updating your competitive analysis is important so that you are making sure that whatever you're offering is as good, if not better, than the competition. Look, if you go and see people who are cleaning clothes, pretty much it's all the same, and then it just becomes either an issue of how physically close they are to where you live, or that the price is a little bit better one from another. If you go and take a look at all the snack food stores, they pretty much offer all of the same thing. All of them are offering potato chips and traditional Vietnamese stacks and all the same soft drinks. And so the only question then becomes which one gives a better price than the other ones, or which one's closer to you. Same with coffee shops. If you went to Ocean Park, there's got to be 25 coffee shops there. I mean, within walking distance of me, if it's a coffee shop, within a 5-minute walk, there are about 10 coffee shops. If within a 5-minute walk, actually within a 60-second walk, there are 3 marts, all having the same things, all almost next to each other. So you want to do strategic decision making using your insights to inform better business decisions about what your plans are. You want to go and come up with new innovations because you want to constantly make your product or service better. The companies that don't do that eventually die. Over the years, Blockbuster disappeared, Sears disappeared. These were global companies. If in fact you're not innovating, and that includes you personally, if you're not learning new things, like you should be so proud that you've gone on to this particular class because you're going to improve your skill set. You're going to be more valuable. When you apply to VinUni, you tell us that you've started a company, that's going to go a lot in your favor toward getting not only accepted, but also a great scholarship. And then you want to look at your marketing positioning to make sure that you are positioned against the right types of competitors, and also positioned to go after the market that you're most interested in. Is it 18 to 30-year-olds? Is it 35 to 50-year-olds? Who exactly are you marketing to, and why is this a good fit for that? So let me stop here. And let me see if there's any questions. And if you could please type your questions in the chat, because next week we'll talk about financial models. Can data, AI, or sensors create new value for customers? I guess it all depends on the customers that you're targeting and what's important to them. Anybody else with questions for me? And I hope all of you are applying to our national competition. I'm right now speaking at Tech Week here, and I told them that within the next 5 to 10 years, Vietnam will be one of the powerhouses in entrepreneurship on the globe, because we're starting you all so early in terms of learning about how to develop your ideas and launch them. So does anybody have any questions for me at all? Just type them in the chat. Love to answer your questions. And we also sent out last week's class on revenue. I actually improved the slides and made it simpler. Again, I apologize about last week. Technical problems. It just didn't go as well as I had hoped. And again, for people who end up missing these classes, we send video. And also I'm going to run the class again starting in January. Okay. Hello, sir. Based on your experience, what is the most common major mistake you see successful companies make? Is it becoming too focused on their direct competitors while missing threats from outside the industry, or is it complacency with their current business model? I would say it's complacency with their current business model and constantly not thinking about how they can improve whatever they're offering. What usually happens is that as companies grow, finance people take over the companies, and they don't want to spend money. And you have to spend money to improve your company and yourself. If you're not getting new education all the time, if you're not taking additional classes as you become an adult, then all of a sudden you don't have the skills to compete anymore. And that's really what happens is that companies don't look at what competitors are doing and just think about the taxi world. When I was your age, or even up to like 15 years ago, people went out in the street and they called a taxi and they waved the taxi down. They waited. They hoped the taxi would come. If you were in an isolated place, like I went to a doctor and his house was super hard to find, there were no taxis going by. And you could call the taxi company, but oftentimes it was hard to get to them. So Uber got created so that you could call a taxi anytime, anywhere. You didn't even have to need your money. All you need was a credit card was put in. And you wondered why didn't the taxi companies come up with this? Or once they saw Uber doing this in San Francisco, why didn't they immediately make the adjustment? In Philadelphia, we used to have almost 600 taxis. Today, we have only one third of that number, only 200 taxis today in Philadelphia. The rest is Uber and Lyft. When you guys look for a driver, you don't look for taxi cabs anymore. You automatically use your app and you go after that. So again, the big mistake that people make is not constantly improving their offering and constantly monitoring competition to see how they are stacking up and how they can be better. What if I have another question? What if I have an idea for my product, but I can't find anyone to help me with the development? As a student, I can't do the research and the development myself. So look, if you've come up with an idea and you research it and you can provide third-party facts that support that this is a great idea, you can do with what the students in the last year's competition did, which I thought was really a cool idea that I'd never seen before. And that is that they went on Telegram and they let everybody know that they wanted to start this new product service and enter our competition. They ended up getting 4 students who joined them, 4 students from 4 different parts of Vietnam. And those students helped them develop their plan and a demo product. And that team that didn't even know each other ended up winning the national competition. So you can go out on social media and say, I have an idea without giving them too much, and I'm looking for someone to help me develop the technology behind it. Or you might contact the head of, if it's technological, computers or engineering, you would contact the deans of different engineering and computer science schools, like contacting us at VinUni and say you're looking to develop this product or service. Are any of the students interested in being a part of this, or are there any professors? And that's how you can find somebody to be your partner. I had the same thing. I created a company called Funding Organizer, and I asked around. I need somebody who could be developing this online application for business owners to fill out to apply for commercial bank loans. And 2 people actually suggested the same guy. And since 2 people suggested him, I met with him. He became my partner, and he got 25% of the equity, and I kept 75%. Because I was going to have the ongoing work and I came up with the idea, and all he had to do was set it up and just do some maintenance once in a while. So I hope I answered your question. Any other questions out there for me? Love your questions. So appreciate it. I hope this program that I've been doing Sunday mornings has been good for you all. And I hope you'll let me know if it's been good or if there's ways I can improve it. Please just write to me and let me know, because I want it to be fantastic and encourage you all to become entrepreneurs, either full-time or part-time. Anybody else with any questions? Are you sure no questions for me? Again, you can always email me as well if you feel funny about asking the question. We'll be on again next Sunday, so I can tell you about how to put together your financial model. Okay, if no one has any questions for me, again, I appreciate you coming, and we'll be posting this. So I hope all of you have a wonderful, great day and a great weekend. Take care, everybody.